Hello and welcome to Brewers Daily. I'm your host, Dave Gasper. Lots to get to here on the show. ESPN dropped their top 100 players heading into the regular season. We'll get into that. Also, we got another pitcher highlight and some camp notes on one of the Brewers' biggest pieces this year, Quinn Priester. We'll get into that coming up. But we want to start with Christian Yelich. He got his first chance in Cactus League play yesterday, and he did not disappoint. He is already ready for bubble wrap, in my opinion. So Christian Yelich got 3 plate appearances against the Cubs, drew a walk in his first one, homered to dead center in his second at bat, and they got a single in his third. Christian Yelich is ready to go. I'm calling it now. Put the bubble wrap on him. He is going to be good to go. Protect him at all costs. You need Christian Yelich this season. So we finally have, we've waited so long for his first Cactus League action. Not anything unusual for him to wait this long before getting in there. Gets a couple of at-bats, and he is clearly ready to go. He did bring back the leg kick, which is interesting. Past couple of years, he's kind of done away from it. We haven't seen it since about mid-2024. And the leg kick was a big part of his success when he was, an MVP candidate 2018, 2019. Ended up winning it in 2018. Fell just short in 2019 because he shattered his kneecap and missed the final few weeks of the season. So that stung. But still, Christian Yelich is, experimenting with that. He's brought that back, at least for the time being, and with great results for that leg kick. So Christian Yelich is good to go. We bubble wrapped Bryce Terang earlier this spring as he was lighting it up at the plate. Now, obviously, he's off for Team USA, and in their exhibition yesterday, Bryce Terang back-to-back doubles to the opposite field, mind you. So Bryce Terang certainly looks ready to go, but we can't quite bubble wrap him yet because we still got the World Baseball Classic to go here, which I am very, very excited for. So, Christian Yelich, it is everything you could hope for. Again, it's spring training. It is 3 plate appearances. So there's really only so much you can technically draw. Like, does this mean he's going to be an MVP again? Not necessarily, but it means he looks just about ready to go. All right. ESPN dropped their top 100 players in Major League Baseball heading into the 2026 season. So MLB Network does something similar with their top 100 right now. And, MLB Network's, some of their metrics have been interesting, how they go about it, according to their shredder. Keep in mind, their shredder had Bryce Terang as the 10th best second baseman in the league. But we all know that's a bunch of baloney. But also, in ESPN's top 100, Bryce Terang is ranked 74th on the top 100 players in the league right now. Not too bad for the 10th best second baseman. When I was going through the list that ESPN put out there were not 9 second basemen above Bryce Terang. Just saying. But, Bryce Terang comes in at 74 on that list, which is the lowest ranked of the Brewers on there. But Terang, I think recognition is certainly growing around the league. And perhaps it will grow even more now with the World Baseball Classic because he's getting the starts here at second base for Team USA. So there's going to be a lot of attention on Team USA in this World Baseball Classic. Bryce Terang, if he's raking in these games, he is absolutely going to garner some more attention from around the league and around the country. So I'm excited for that. The prediction that they had for Terang this year was combined 50 homers and stolen bases. How it breaks out, they don't know. They projected 15 homers, 35 stolen bases. I think there's more homers in there for him and more stolen bases. I think that prediction is fairly conservative for Bryce Terang. Nothing wrong with that. I think there's a good chance of that coming true. But I think he's someone who can hit 20-plus home runs or 20-plus homers this season, and he can get over 35 stolen bases as well. So we shall see, but I do like it. I like that Bryce Terang's on there. Then next, Jackson Chourio at 45. He comes in. Jackson Chourio in the top 50 players in the league. Last year, very similar to his rookie season. But year 3, it's going to be an opportunity for him to take a massive leap. which is something that we talked about here on a hitter highlight for Jackson Chourio and just kind of some predictions for him. So I'm excited for what Chourio is going to bring this year. I think it's just only going to continue to get better. The more he learns this league, the more he understands, the more experience he has. I think Chourio is just going to continue to improve. And they projected 30 home runs for Jackson Chourio. He was on pace for improved stats last season before he had the hamstring issue that took out about a month. So I think for him to have a really strong season in 2026, I think that's a very, very good prediction on their part. I think 30 home runs is definitely possible for Chourio. I think you can throw in 30 stolen bases as well with him. So, yeah, I do like Chourio being at that spot. And it's going to be hard to put him higher on these kinds of lists until he takes that kind of a leap. But also, then the final Brewer on this top 100 list by ESPN, William Contreras comes in at 28. And very strong, very solid ranking for Contreras, especially considering he's coming off a down year. But he's arguably the top catcher in all of baseball. Cal Raleigh and his 60 home run season aside, William Contreras is one of the top offensive catchers there is. And if you can have that type of production that he can put up at that position, that's going to very quickly put you to the top of lists like this. So William Contreras comes in at 28. I don't really have any issue with any of these rankings at all. Freddie Peralta was in the 60s, so the Brewers would have had one more, but alas, they have traded him. But still, I got no issue with these rankings at all, which the same can't necessarily be said for MLB Network's The Shredder. All right, anyways, moving on from that before I get on that kind of a tirade. All right, let's get to our pitcher highlight of the day here, and let's get into Shane Drohan, one of the pieces that the Brewers acquired in the Caleb Durbin trade, him alongside Kyle Harrison and David Hamilton. But Shane Drohan, very interesting piece, left-handed pitcher, 27 years old, has yet to make his major league debut. He has dealt with a couple of different injuries throughout his minor league career. So just 16 innings in 2024, 54 innings in 2025. So he hasn't been able to get that full workload the past couple of seasons. Prior to that, he had 123 innings in 2023, 129 innings in 2022. So he has been able to throw, full, complete seasons before, but past 2 years hasn't really been able to. But Shane Drohan, 5-pitch mix. All right, he's got a fastball, changeup is his best secondary, curveball, slider, and a cutter as well. So Drohan, he may end up being a reliever ultimately, but he does have starter ingredients. He does have starter potential. And I think the Brewers really like him. He was showcasing some improved stuff last season. The fastball improved a little bit. And also his slider improved as well. So excited to see those secondary pitches continue to get better. Now that he's working with the Brewers pitching lab, the H&H car wash as they're calling it. But really, really good full-on mix. He was able to bring down his walk rate, which is really good. That's a very important improvement for a pitcher to remain as a starter. But Shane Drohan taking some steps forward, and he's impressed Pat Murphy. Pat Murphy talked about it because Drohan did pitch in the game against the Cubs, and according to Pat Murphy, he was very impressed, and he's expecting Drohan to be in Milwaukee this year. Now, I don't think that's necessarily breaking any news that Drohan is going to be in Milwaukee at some point this season, whether that's in the rotation, whether that's on the opening day roster, I think remains to be seen. I think those are fair questions. Murphy didn't really commit to that. He just said, I think we'll see him this year at some point, which I would agree. He's 27 years old. He's been in AAA. There's really not much more for him to prove in the minor leagues. It's on him to be able to prove it at the major leagues now. So I think we're going to see Drohan. I think we could see him early too. It's just going to end up being a matter of how many opportunities will he get in the big league rotation. Will he ultimately get pushed to the bullpen just to get some regular opportunities? But him being a lefty, lefty potential long reliever, the Brewers already have Aaron Ashby and DL Hall to occupy spots there in the bullpen. and potentially the rotation. So how that all works, how that all ends up shaking out, provided everyone's healthy, that remains to be seen. But Drohan, I think absolutely we will see him at some point this year. It may be a limited capacity at the major league level. He still may spend a lot of time in AAA, but Drohan is certainly impressing Pat Murphy, and that is very, very important for him. And what's also potentially important for his chances to make this team and make this rotation is what goes on with Quinn Priester, because Pat Murphy talked about this as well during the Brewers TV broadcast during the game yesterday, that Quinn Priester, his wrist issue is still kind of there, and his slow recovery from it, some days, he's feeling fine. Next day it flares up and they got to kind of take it slow. So they seem to be really cautious with Quinn Priester, and there are some concerns that he may not be ready in time for opening day, which certainly would be a big blow to this group. It doesn't seem like anything long-term or major. They're kind of being overly cautious at this point. No need to push it in early March. You need Quinn Priester throughout the whole season. You need Quinn Priester ready in October. That's when you need him. You don't necessarily need him in March and April. You have the depth to get through it. So you can afford to take your time with Quinn Priester. That can open up another rotation opportunity for one of these other young guys competing for spots. And when Quinn Priester comes back, he's likely going to have a spot when he returns. So for him, I understand being cautious, but he may not be ready in time. And that does open up a potential roster spot if he's not ready. With Shane Drohan impressing, with Logan Henderson, with Brandon Sproat, Robert Gasser, there are a ton of options that the Brewers could go with to fill out this rotation. And Priester, again, his injury doesn't seem long-term at the moment, and they'd like to keep it that way. So they're being incredibly cautious as that wrist continues to heal and just slowly build him up and make sure that he's feeling 100% and ready to go before they put him back out there. You don't need him now. You need him later. So they're playing it safe, and that's the important thing because with all the pitchers you have and with how important they're going to be, you need them. All right, so very excited for what this team is going to be able to do. I think they're going about this the right way, and that's really all that matters. Be sure to subscribe to Brewers Daily. Get notified every single time a new episode drops. Follow me on Twitter at dgasper24. Spring training is continuing for the Milwaukee Brewers. We've got the World Baseball Classic now going to be starting here in the next couple of days. Also, should be expecting the rosters for the prospect breakout on tomorrow's show. So very excited for that. We'll dive in there. So again, subscribe, get notified, and you can be one of the first to watch tomorrow's episode as we break down that spring breakout roster. So that's going to be coming up. Appreciate you watching, appreciate you enjoying, and we'll see you again next time for another episode of Brewers Daily.